Owen, winner of this match. Well, let's talk about this entire part of the bracket. This is quite the stacked bracket too.
Oh, it sure is. I was looking at it earlier. There are a lot of good runners on this side of the bracket. If I remember correctly, I think the race that everybody always wants to see, Ben and Christos, would happen on this side of the bracket.
That is correct. We get a piece of heart out of Link's house as we are underway. Let's begin this match between the Numpty and GanonsGoneWild. Get a quick map check, and I'll let you take that one.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What am I taking?
What do we end up getting for crystals here in the late world?
It looks like Eastern and Desert were crystals, and I did not notice Hera.
There's Arcane Averna as our starting weapon.
I think I was mistaken. I think that Desert was Pendant.
Deuce May, our tracker behind the scenes, confirming that it is a desert apparently, as we're making our way over towards Hyrule Castle. Now, the Cane of Burna is an interesting strat. You have to know how to use it efficiently.
Yep, so the actual damage portion of it stops a little bit after you deactivate it. So you have to anticipate when that's going to hit and deactivate it sooner so that you don't run out of magic. Now, if they have good knowledge of the sewer pots, which I know they both do, if they were to run into a problem with magic, there are a number of pots in the sewers that they can get a little refill off of.
Crystal's already here to the chain, and oh, we get the mirror. What a start here. That's going to quicken up this escape.
Absolutely. As soon as you get the princess, you can go ahead and mirror back to the start of Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, that's a huge thing for routing.
Ooh, and the big bomb drop by Christos, so he will not need to farm anymore, which can be tricky with the Cane of Burna because you really need almost all of your magic to get through the 3 guards and rat, even if you do it perfectly.
And both runners thankfully remembering that they can mirror, so that both of them are going to head towards the back of the escape, and they really don't need to worry about killing anything else until they get to that rat, because both of them already got their 8 bombs.
Yep, and that's not by coincidence either. The prize pack for green guards obviously is randomized to have 8 bomb drop this time around. And I believe they share that same prize pack with the rats. GanonsGoneWild is down to 1 heart, so needs to be a little bit careful, especially when he throws the bomb, because if he gets too close to that bomb when it explodes, that's 1 heart of damage.
Yeah, Yeah, you don't want to be testing your ability to absorb bombs at that point.
So with so many bombs, they saved a little time there, going out the north entrance rather than the south.
And Christos, not taking track of what he had remaining, gets the map out of the sanctuary chest.
I think that in a race of this importance, even though you maybe paid attention and you were like, "Oh, I know it's the map," you don't want to be wrong. Well, bombs galore. The tree pole is also bombs. So we have a little divergence here. Christos is going to check this ledge, and it's just a heart container, where Ganon is going to skip that.
Yeah, Ganon's gone a wild option to go right straight for the Lost Woods.
Yep, he was a couple seconds behind Christos, but this has given him a couple second lead. But we have a lot of rando to play. Blind's Hut so far has just given us a bunch of money. Oh, but they get a bottle.
Well, it's nice to see a bottle coming up for routing here in Kakariko Village.
We have an early shovel as well, so I don't think we'll be seeing a save and quit after they check the race game. I imagine they'll go and check that. And good value from the bottle vendor with a lamp. So we have our fire source. In terms of dark rooms, neither of these runners are looking for the lamp for that purpose. They actually may not want to see it this early because it's one more item that, tells you you might be doing AGA.
Yeah, and well, who wants to really be doing AGA, especially knowing what we have at the Lumberjack Lab?
Chat wants you to be doing AGA.
Did I just see some vanilla?
You did. You saw a vanilla bugnet. And their first sword in the back of the bar. just 10 arrows on the library. I doubt we'll be coming back for that. But the race game does have quite a bit of value. You got the gloves there. So with them having the shovel in hand, I don't think we'll be seeing a save and quit anytime soon. They're probably going to go use the shovel and then go south since they can pick up the big rock.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be heading right straight down towards the swamp after that, as we do... This seed here is kind of giving these guys a set path where they can go at this point. Obviously, you want to see what that shovel is at this early point. Why is the seed giving them a shovel? Is it worth anything important?
I would say so. Just a moon pearl.
Nah, I don't think that's important.
All right, I appreciate Christos not making me look bad.
I mean, I don't see the importance behind that. I mean, it's not like you need that to be a good fraction of this game. I like this sink trip into the dam, though.
Yep. Which kind of shows you that the path that Christos took was just a couple... It's a very rare case, but it's a couple seconds faster. Because Ganon was a little bit ahead.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, GanonsGoneWild was only ahead because of the fact that Christos ended up checking the lumberjack ledge. So, you know, hook shot, nice spot for that. This now makes Death Mountain a more appealing play, and GanonsGoneWild is going to go cash in here and see whether or not Agina has anything important.
That's a very interesting divergence. You know, it is a Sphere 1 location, so it does have a high chance of having a progression item, and Ganon might be saying to himself, well, I'm playing a really good runner. I need to make some gambles.
Yeah, that's understandable. As we find the bow in the mini Moldorm cave.
Oh, wow. So I imagine Eastern will be happening pretty shortly here.
Yeah,
they have everything they need.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point. This makes this more of a lucrative play. 20 rupees inside Agina's chest, so unfortunately nothing much there. GanonsGoneWild presents it with a bomb. Not happy with that.
Now they are close to Zora Money, and they have the Moon Pearl. So we'll see if we're gonna see a fake flipper here.
Well, if christosowen really wants to, he's got the glove. He can go ahead and go into that rock that's underneath the light rock, the cave there, but he opts not to go ahead and do so. You can farm rupees in there, not quite as much as you can get near the desert. And we did get 50 rupees out of the Ice Rod Cave. And Christos with 494 rupees. He's got other places he can check right now that are better in sequence and more value to him at this point. Like, for instance, the 3 at Sahasrara and the 3 that's at Eastern Palace.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he just, is saying, I have so many options right now. I don't need to waste time on these sequence break items.
Yeah. Speaking of sequence breaks, didn't a sequence break go wrong for you in that Week 5 match against GanonsGoneWild?
I knew you were gonna say that, and it's the exact sequence break we're talking about because I fake flippered, found a flute, which led me to Death Mountain, which had absolutely nothing on it.
Yeah, it's a sequence break that ended up taking you in the wrong direction than where you needed to go. And that's the danger of doing sequence breaks. Sometimes the seed can send you in a different direction that, well, it didn't really want you to go.
Yep. I don't think I ever even found flippers in that seed. I don't remember, but I don't think I did.
So the question is, will GanonsGoneWild go for it? I mean, we just saw GanonsGoneWild go for Agina, but opts not to do so. Figures, hey, I've got some plays over here that I can make. And I'd have to assume at some point GanonsGoneWild is going to feel like they're going to have to do a route divergence that they know that Christos wouldn't even think of. That may be why we saw an early Agina play.
Yeah, most definitely. However, right now, the places that they have access to, there really isn't an option that's a gamble. They're all high item density locations.
Well, yeah, that's right. And GanonsGoneWild might be thinking, christosowen didn't make the trip over to Eastern Palace at this point, even though the seed gave you an early bow. Maybe Christos ended up heading over towards Death Mountain. Maybe he did the sequence break. And I'm wondering if that's going to be coming into play here for GanonsGoneWild throughout this entire first round matchup.
Yep, definitely. I think one of the hardest things about being in this tournament is, besides your normal thought process of, okay, I just got this, where do I have to go? Where's my item locations? What's the seed telling me? You also have these thought processes of, what is my opponent doing?
Absolutely, and it's a different scenario than if you were playing in a full-out SRL race or a large race on SR.TV. It's a case where you're not racing against a whole bunch of people. You're racing against one opponent, and you've got to treat it like a one-on-one. And sometimes it does come down to trying to figure out what your opponent is up to.
Absolutely. In those big races, you're not thinking about what your opponents are doing, because at the end of the day, with that many racers, at least one person has done anything you can think of. Here, you're just thinking about one person.
But the thing is you want to draw out the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent. And one of the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent is maybe your opponent is heavy on the dungeon diving as opposed to overworld searching. So in that case, you comb that overworld, hoping that gives you everything that you need as opposed to the dungeons.
Absolutely. A lot of these runners, I can tell you that before I played GanonsGoneWild, I watched at least 2 of his matches, because they want to know what their tendencies are. Just like you said, are they an overworld person, or, I have the items for a dungeon, let's go in?
Are they heavy on the sequence breaks? That's another question you have to ask. I mean, do they love to do sequence breaks to the point that they're doing the bottle glitch, or they're doing the walking on water, the things like that, and all of them do add up. So far, we haven't seen anything in this Eastern Palace.
No, but it is a crystal. The only thing that they could find later in the game that would help them really at all with this is the boots. The silver arrows for this fight, for both of these runners, is so trivial because they are so quick. There's the flippers.
So there's our progression right there. So for the entire scope of that dungeon, the question was, is there anything important in here? Is there progression in here? And it turns out the answer is yes. The flippers are here, which do unlock some items. And for both of these runners going through here, I've now given them the rupees, should they choose to do so. And based on where Christos is starting, that's exactly where he's heading to first, the hobo as well as Zora.
Yep, absolutely. And if they find something on, Waterfall Ledge, the sequence break would have cost them time. Maybe I should stop sequence breaking.
Well, I mean, maybe we'll find the hammer here, which would have given Dark World access a little bit sooner, but there the entire game branches out. That seems to be only 20 rupees. That is not a hammer. And until we find the hammer, we cannot officially rule out the possibility of this being an Aga-required seed. Well, the hammer or the Titansmith, because the Titansmith would also give Dark World access, and with the flippers, I'd get you to the east side.
Oh, for a second there, I thought Ganon was going to go into this fight with exactly 18 arrows, which is quite bold, because that's exactly how many you need if you do it perfectly.
Well, considering there's two arrows on the wall there, that is a good thing he picked up some extra, make that 3. And of course, it also takes into the fact that this one replenishes his health once he turns red.
Yep, you do have to get the quick kill for 18 arrows to be a thing, which the quick kill involves putting 2 arrows on one of the Armos Knights, and right as you're killing the 5th one, you hit an arrow with the 6th one immediately afterwards.
Absolutely, and that would end up being the quick kill right there. As we see GanonsGoneWild going ahead and doing the save and quitting. Think about the options. It looks like they may be thinking about the trip up to Death Mountain. In fact, that's where they're going, as Zora yields, the magic powder, which we do not have access to the magic bat just yet. We need either Dark World access or the hammer to get to it. So it looks like Christos is going to be doing the same move. So GanonsGoneWild is going to be the first one up to the mountain. And the only difference here is that Christos chased after the flipper part of the logic, trying to see if that was going to be the next stage. And it very well could be. I mean, it could be a possibility that the powder will lead to something soon.
Absolutely, and it might be a scenario in which...
Hammer time!
Never mind. Yeah, so if they had gotten the Titans, they still can access that magic bat with the mirror. But that's moot because they found the hammer.
So that's your Dark World access, but you're already up here at this point. You might as well continue on with the path of progression. Let's go ahead and see what's on Spectacle Rock, what's in Spectacle Rock. And I will probably guess that both of these runners will go into the Tower of Hera next, considering that's the next crystal on our ledger.
Yep, that would make sense. And they have a fire source, so it is, no matter what, completable.
You see Bombo's down here, which is going to make both of these runners go and grab that. You know, I mean, you want to have that Bombos for 2 reasons. First of all, it could be a medallion required to get into either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock, or that could be your only way through Ice Palace.
Yep, and we have not seen the Dark World yet, so we don't know if Ice Palace is going to be a thing or not.
So we see GanonsGoneWild taking the fall down. It looks like Christos is setting up for the bomb jump. Let's see if he can't get it. He's got to line himself up against the edge of that wall. And he has done it to perfection.
Very, very nice. And I imagine that GanonsGoneWild, by his save and quit, is going to go right side first.
Yep, as christosowen is going to chase down the Tower of Hera. That's going to be the last stop here for GanonsGoneWild, but I'm thinking that this is a case where GanonsGoneWild may be hoping that they will find the Titansmith so they can get some more items, maybe add to their health before they get up to the top of the Tower of Hera. Now, GanonsGoneWild is going to have to be careful. Those red Tektites can hit you for 2 hearts with the green tunic.
Yep, I think he made a good choice there to play it more safe, and because the mirror is only going to save you a couple seconds.
Yeah, coming down here, you know, you might as well at this point. There's your health refill, so it does definitely keep you alive and get to that safety at that point. And this will allow GanonsGoneWild to head into the mini Moldorm room, and then, you know, having that extra life now is going to help out for the bomb jump he's going to do in just a moment. So we find the silver arrows, as well as the 10 bomb, a 10 arrow upgrade, as well as a bomb upgrade. The biggest thing being these silver arrows on this path. Here we find our first shield in the Tower of Hera. Now, christosowen did not grab that first chest in the lobby, so we do not know if this is dungeon item, second item, or bust. But this could be a time save for Christos, just a microscopic time save, if it turns out that the Moldorm has that final item. And we find boots on the island.
Ooh, so, yep, so after we find the Titan's mitts, I imagine that's going to be priority number 1 for these runners.
And there's the second item of the Tower of Hera. The red rupee falls down, and christosowen will grab crystal number 2 at 2634. So solid start here for christosowen, as he now will make his way over to the right-hand side. Well, first he's going to go and head into the portal. Is he trying out? Oh my goodness, he is. That madman, he's going to do Spike Cave. This is a bold move, Cotton, and we've seen this happen to other runners where they end up trying to do this and they end up running out of time. But Crystals looks like he'll be fine. He'll have that rock lifted up in time, and we find that it is just some bombs. Wouldn't that have been something if that was the Titan's Mitt?
Oh, that would have been huge, because really GanonsGoneWild, with the path that he took, is going to have the option between doing the same thing or going to Spiral Cave. Both won't be on the... Well, I guess you could mirror back, but it would take some time.
And GanonsGoneWild, not doing the bomb jump, has to go back upstairs here after falling down to the 3rd floor. He will go ahead and activate the pegs, so that means the red pegs will be down when he gets to the 5th floor, allowing for the health backs to be established for him, which will definitely help out with the Moldorm 2 fight in the event that this turns out to be a nasty fight. And, well, we've already taken a hard damage to the dongos, or however we want to call them, fire-breathing dragons, or whatever they are in this game. So Crystal's about to pick up his silver arrows. He's not seen the boots on the island just yet, but does know that a Titan's Mitt will be the path to get to him once he does see them. We do not know where the Titan's Mitt is, but I have a feeling those Titan's Mitts are now going to be in the Dark World.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of options left here in the Light World, especially that we can access.
In fact, I think everything's been accessed here in the Light World except for the Magic Bat.
Yep, without the book, that is quite the case.
There's certain Light World spots you can get to at this point, but you need to go through the Dark World to get to them. Like, for example, Haunted Grove, Graveyard Ledge. And here's the funny thing, by the way. We do have full access to Swamp Palace. Oh, by the way, GanonsGoneWild never stopped in here. This is going to be Spiral Cave. This is going to be the resident sleeper cave, because these runners are going to be doing this the slow way, having to walk around the spiral instead of being able to dash around. So this is another stop on our journey, and this could very well be an important item. This could be book. This could be the Tinesmith. Or, instead, it could be 10 arrows. Now I'm bored.
Well, you're not going to for very long, because I think we're about to see some hype or not so hype cave.
I don't know if I'm going to be any less bored with Hype Cave. I mean, this Hype Cave could be very well the most boring cave you'll ever see. We do get a map check, one of the 5-6 crystals. Oh goodness, the 2 medallion dungeons are your 5-6. Green pendant at thieves, blue pendant at ice.
Yeah, and no runner wants to see pendant at thieves, because it's a dungeon that's early accessible once you get to the Dark World, and you can just there's usually something in there, and Hype Cave has the fire rod.
So okay, this wasn't quite the bore fest as I was anticipating it to be. Now we can go ahead and beat another crystal dungeon by way of Skull Woods, as christosowen is going to be heading over to another dungeon that he's going to be able to beat at this point. That turns out to be the Palace of Darkness.
Yep, and we might see a look at the pyramid while we're at it.
He's going to go right straight to the Palace of Darkness first. If he does anything with the pyramid, it will be post Palace of Darkness at this point. But he's going to have to be careful health-wise. 2.5 hearts means that a lot of things in this overworld can put him into danger zone really fast, and that's why he's going to try to take out as many enemies as he can with that hammer of his. And being very patient, which is acceptable, but he gets hit there, dies.
Oh no! He had a potion too.
So we're going to probably see a whole bunch of numpties in chat because of that, as christosowen loads up on his health, and he's going to probably do this again, because why not? You want to get to the Palace of Darkness at this point, get this out of your way, and he will probably go do this via the other portal. As GanonsGoneWild is going to be doing the trip over here, and we'll be heading to the Palace of Darkness as well by the looks of things. Just wanted to get the hobo out of the way at this point. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's going down to this portal instead of the one near the house. GanonsGoneWild not headed to the Palace of Darkness just yet. We'll opt to go ahead and check the pyramid. Wouldn't this be something if this is a sword upgrade or even defense upgrade by way of a mail?
Oh, absolutely. But
it
is
10 arrows.
Yep, so that death actually is not really going to cost Christos too much. His routing on Death Mountain was a little faster than GanonsGoneWild, so
absolutely,
and
they're still going to be very close. That death there is probably going to be weighing in on Christos's mind for a little bit here, but we're heading to the Palace of Darkness. 5 items in here. Who knows what else we're going to find inside? And you know, you've got the lamp, you've got the bow, you've got the hammer. This is a completely beatable dungeon. You've already beat the Light World counterpart, Eastern Palace, so you might as well come here.
Absolutely. You know, and some runners will tell you that in this version, they tend to see a lot of Titansmiths in here.
Well, let's see if that turns out to be correct. There are several places where those Titansmiths can be. at this point. We do have full access to Skull Woods. Thieves Town, even though it is a pendant, is beatable. We know that the Titans cannot be on the pedestal at this point because Ice Palace is also a pendant, and that would be required to get to the pedestal there, so we can't have the mids be there. Still too early at 35 minutes in to go ahead and start our usual what's on the pedestal debate, because I know we love doing that. We love hyping up the race in that regards, but still a long ways to go.
Oh, I don't know. It could be Flute, a Medallion, Ice Rod, or Cane.
We'll discuss those options a little bit later.
Oh, I'm sorry. Disregard that. Disregard that.
Yeah. Said the number of locations will start to be weighed down. Now, the Cane of Samaria is an interesting one because it may not be on the pedestal and may be logically required to be one of the pendant dungeons. That turns out to be the Ice Palace, and that is a case if Coldster drops a key, that means the seed would require you, by logic, to have the Cane of Samaria in there. But we're not going to go into Ice Palace for a long, long time. We're probably not going to see Ice Palace for another 50 minutes if we do. Find a heart container on top of the chest here, the big key chest. That's the spot that GanonsGoneWild is about to go ahead and check. Now, at this point, you just died in the overworld. What's going through christosowen's mind?
Well, so he's thinking that either GanonsGoneWild is most of his way through Village of Outcasts, maybe already Woods.
Nice bomb jump by christosowen.
Absolutely. He's a big fan of that bomb jump. Saves him a couple seconds. But he also could be thinking that, oh, he made the same decision. He's behind me in pod. But one thing that Christos has told me, because I'm horrible about thinking about what my opponent has done, is he really tries not to metagame. He tries not to think about bad things that happened to him and what his opponent did.
But you've got to keep that salt from taking over your mind. You don't want to be absorbing it for quite some time here. We find the ether downstairs, by the way. And a key for a key in the harmless hellway, as christosowen's now going to head on over towards the big chest. GanonsGoneWild going downstairs. I think we've seen 4 of the items here in the Palace of Darkness. There's nothing for progression outside of that ether, and that ether is not really progression until it's time to see if a medallion is going to be needed.
Well, it's also necessary.
Ice Rod, though. Which is not needed for now, but down the road, that Ice Rod is going to be needed.
Oh, the runners are happy to see that one, because that's an item that can be anywhere in the game, short of Trinex or Ganon's Tower if it's required. So there are so many possibilities. They want to get that item out of the way.
Absolutely. So christosowen's going to go ahead and push the block on over. Once we are done with that, Christos is likely going to go do the pyramid as well as the maybe catfish check. I don't know if GanonsGoneWild is going to make the same check because we've already seen GanonsGoneWild check the pyramid. Now, they still have to do the Zora area, which may be when they lump together the catfish check.
Yeah, since he has the flippers, he may be thinking, well, I'll take I'll go do Skull Woods, maybe dip into Thieves Town, and then take the northern route to Catfish and Waterfall.
At this point, if I was in their shoes, I would go to Skull Woods next. Definitely go to Skull Woods. The game's starting to give you some health. I mean, you can withstand Mothula. In fact, you've already got a potion in your arsenal too, so you can definitely handle Mothula at this point. Head on over to Skull Woods, see what it has. Obviously, you can't get what's at Bumper Cave just yet because we need the magic cape. But we're starting to run out of possibilities where this Titan's going to be.
Yeah, we sure are, and it is an item that locks a fair amount of possibilities, so we should be getting it sooner rather than later.
We do know that Titan's unlocks one major item at this point. Whether or not it's required or not, who knows, but it's always a nice item to have, and that would be the boots, which we know are on the floating island up on Death Mountain. And we know that once we find the Titan's Mitt, these runners are going to make a beeline up to that mountain because they want that speed. Another possibility that we could go to at this point would also be Swamp Palace, which is completely beatable at this point. We do have all the items for completing it. May be a little bit annoying because we only had the fighter sword at this point. And GanonsGoneWild finally gets the silver arrow onto Helmstar King, finishes it off the fight, and christosowen is going exactly where I believed he was going to be going. We're going to get the Northwest Hyrule check.
Absolutely, but they are going to have to take the long way around because do not have the Titan's mitts.
It's like Supertramp once saying, take the long way home. GanonsGoneWild looks to maybe be making the swamp play.
Interesting. Definitely not a bad play. You got 6 items there. You can complete it right now. Is a crystal, and maybe feeling, I gotta go to some places that I don't think Christos is gonna go to immediately.
Yeah, it might be a case here of what we were mentioning a little while ago, is that you are going to be making a play that you have a feeling that your opponent's not going to be making, because we know the dream is to do Swamp Palace in Go mode. A nice place for that big key. One room to the left of where you actually be needing it for this dungeon. And we find that the first section of Skull Woods is useless at this point because it has 2 keys, a big key, and a compass. Not really what you need to beat this dungeon.
Yep, and knowing that he can beat Mothula right now, he may prove what I was about to say wrong. I thought he might skip this item to see if he could get the other two items in the place that he has to go anyways.
Just a single rupee inside, so it was definitely an item that you would be checking at that point. And it doesn't surprise me. I think if Christos had found one of the 2 items, he would skip that. Hope that the second item's on Mothula. But with the 2 items still up for grabs, this seemed like the decision to make at this point. We know that the map is going to be one of the remaining items, and the second item of Skull Woods still to be found as well. And this is not really going to be a tense fight for Christos. He does have a blue goo in the bottle. He does have a lot of hearts at this point, so I don't see this being a real big problem for him.
Yeah, and he definitely has played a lot of swordless. I have no doubt he's very comfortable with hammer Mothula.
It's not like he ran this at a game's done quick now, did he? Titan's Mitt is in swamp.
Oh man, those gambles. Oh, he needs to be careful. There we go.
Yeah, he's got the potion. Make sure you use it. You don't want to have to making the trip back here. As GanonsGoneWild is going to go right to the back here and go ahead and deal with Argus. This is going to be an annoying fight with Argus because of the fact that we still have Fighter's Sword. But having the Titan's Mitt there, it's a big find for GanonsGoneWild. He needed something to be there. And for Christos, now he gets the crystal out of Skull Woods. Likely heading to the Village of Outcasts after he goes and sees what the second item is.
Yeah, this is pretty bad news for Christos, because I imagine we're getting our boots right after.
Yeah, I don't see GanonsGoneWild skipping the boots for far too long, especially given routing at this point. So Christos does go through the warp. He's going to go back through the portal. He's going to go to the Village of Outcasts at this point, which totally makes sense. Whether or not he dips into Thieves' Town is going to be another question, as GanonsGoneWild gets ready to face off against Argus. Say hello to our friend, the menu boss. Watch Christos find a sword coming up here in the Village of Outcasts.
He sure needs to find something.
Well, that's a heart container to put christosowen up to 12. And christosowen is popping into Thieves' Town. Now, how would you strategize your play here in the Pendant Thieves' Town? Would you do this to the first 4, or would you go all the way?
Well, it depends on what I get. If I get 3 items of the first 4, I'm probably going to dip out. If I get 1, I'm definitely going to do the rest. If I get 2, I don't know. Sometimes I dip out. Most of the time I continue.
Yeah, and we're guaranteed to get 2 items. Or we're not guaranteed to get 2 items. We know we're getting a maximum of 2 items. Well, that's an interesting bunny sprite at that point. And we do get the silver arrow onto Argus as christosowen finds the big key there. We get 20 rupees off from Argus. And is this a 2 or a single? No, it's just a single. Well,
yeah, so he's got to continue. I mean,
you've got to continue at this point with 3 more items up for grabs. Plus, this is also a 5th item.
That is correct.
And if GanonsGoneWild, if he does not go to the mountain cave, I would be stunned. There we go. There we don't go. There we go. Thank you, GanonsGoneWild. You just continued my point right there. Thank you for hitting the right button. Go get your boots.
I think he was trying to troll you. Now, won't it be interesting if he finds the Cane of Samaria up here in, like, Hookshot Cave?
That would be painful, because then you have to leave it up to the decision. Do you go into Turtle Rock if you have the right medallion for it?
And chances are he does, because 66% of the... You know, he has a 66% chance of having it.
Well, let's find out what the Super Bunny Cave has in store for us, as Crystal's found 3 bombs on the top of Thieves Town and making its way on downstairs. Well, there's a piece of heart, and there's a sword upgrade for GanonsGoneWild.
That makes Turtle Rock a lot more
inviting.
Inviting, yeah, I think that's the right word.
And we find out that it is ether to get inside. Crystal's finding the key here in the maiden cell, which means it is not locked in the chest today. GanonsGoneWild going through the Hookshot Cave, and we'll go ahead and get the boots right afterwards. There's the flute.
Oh, wow.
10 arrows in the big chest in Thieves Town, 20 rupees. There's the Cane of Samaria!
My gosh. Wow, I will be very surprised if he does not go into Turtle Rock right now. However,
Crystals needs Quake here. Crystals needs Quake here, or a sword upgrade, or something of that nature to make this worth this trip into Thieves Town, because this is now is an unfortunate trip for christosowen. And GanonsGoneWild picks up the boots. We now have faster movement here for GanonsGoneWild with a lot more items at this point, all because he made the trip into Swamp Palace. And GanonsGoneWild is making the play for Turtle Rock. Thinking about it, do I really want to?
I think the reason that he is okay, so he is going to do it. I think he was thinking about, yep. He is going to go check, obviously activate his flute. He's going to go check Meyer to see what pendant it is, because if it's Bombos or Ether, he's in go mode.
That is right. So he's going to go ahead and activate that flute, and he made a little bit of a mistake right there. Maybe he's just a little unsure of himself at this point of what exactly is going on.
Well, what's got to be going through his mind is he's made a couple gambles, and they have all paid off.
What's going through his mind is, really, this is going on right now? Oh my God. Really, these gambles, these moves that I've made have just paid off, and I'm just surreal about it at this point. You numpty, you can't lift that rock. You don't have the Titan's mitt. By the way, you can't lift that rock either. Nope, you can't lift that rock either, Christos.
Or that one. Or the one that you're headed towards. There we go, Numpty.
And the Numpty's going to chat as well. And GanonsGoneWild is not heading for Meyer at this point. I thought we were going to be making the immediate play for it.
You know, and one thing that we have not talked about is GanonsGoneWild has been playing every week for the past 7 weeks. He has been practicing the entire time. And Christos has been playing Ocarina of Time. He may be a little rusty.
We just need to have him find out where the golden gauntlets are. There's the shield upgrade at that point. GanonsGoneWild going what appears to be straight shot over to Mothula at this point. So the numpty himself at this point probably trying to figure out where those Titansmid are. Now the good thing is he's going to be led into swamp. He's going to have to go into swamp because this seed has everything else locked behind those mitts. He can't just find item number 1 here and be like, oh, I'm going to be able to go to XYZ. The only spot he could be able to check at that point maybe is if he gets the book and checks out desert.
Now, I didn't see it, but GanonsGoneWild didn't go to Meyer, did he?
No, he did not. But he's treating this like he's in go mode, but he may be just doing this the back to front.
Yeah, I'm really surprised about that. I thought his very first move after activating the flute would go and see if he's in go mode. At the same time, he may not even realize how close he is to go mode, because who would think this quickly, you know, into this seed, he'd be in go mode without going through Village of Outcast.
It is definitely a possibility that can happen. So GanonsGoneWild is without any sort of fire rod shots at this point, which is no big problem. He's probably going to hold off refilling that until he absolutely has to by way of health. Getting some issues here with the bug getting into the corners. Getting him out, though, which is not a big problem. But tackles the bug, and I think this is a pretty good job for the bug, all things considering. Now, as far as this race is concerned, Christos is not that far behind. He's going to still have to deal with this dungeon. He's still going to have to defeat Argus with the fighter sword, unless he decides to go left-hand side and check the chest over there, and there's a sword upgrade over there, but very unlikely we may see that. Now, is this going to be the Misery Mire play? If this turns out to be Bombos, if this turns out to be Ether, we are in go mode.
Yeah, and that's not great for Christos. You're right, he's not that far behind, but...
And it is Ether, so 5719 GanonsGoneWild has gotten confirmation that he is the first of these two runners into...
go mode.
And this race is not done and over with just yet, but, you know, Christos has got to make up a lot of time. He's still got to get up to Death Mountain. Now, obviously, he's going to do that next because, like GanonsGoneWild, he knows that the boots are up there. This seed draws you up there. This seed forces you up to Death Mountain because of those boots. You want those boots. You want to get those boots to make your life a lot easier. You're not going to dive into another dungeon without getting those boots. And GanonsGoneWild, you know, I've noticed this about his combat. His combat is not as strong as we've seen from Christos, as Christos is apparently going left side.
Yeah, you know, with all of the NMG and just the years of Zelda Christos has been playing, he does have the execution advantage, but, you know, he's got a lot of ground to make up.
You know what would make this a little easier for GanonsGoneWild at this point? If he finds Tempered Sword somewhere in his journey, either it be here or in Turtle Rock. And he's already found the big key, so he's already heading to Vitreous. And with the Silver Arrows, this is not going to be a bad fight at all. But if he finds the Tempered Sword in his journey, this will make his life a whole lot easier. And may probably remove one of the last doubts we would have in regards to the upcoming battle. So we're reaching the 1 hour mark of this match. Just a reminder, this is round 1 match between GanonsGoneWild and christosowen. christosowen being one of the qualifiers from the primary tournament last year, one of the top 8. GanonsGoneWild ended up finishing 5-2 to get his qualifying berth into this part of the tournament. This is game 1 of a best-of-3 series between these runners, and so the slate is clean. It's say 0-0 for both of these runners at this point. I'll have to take a look at the schedule coming up in just a moment to see when game number 2 is scheduled. I believe it's for next weekend, I want to say, but I'm not 100% certain of that. We knew GanonsGoneWild had some good strengths in their 5-2 record. Now, here's the question, and this is the question I want to ask seriously at this point in the run. Did you expect GanonsGoneWild to be having this much of a lead over christosowen at this stage in this run?
Oh, most definitely not. I was aware from watching some of his videos that he does like to gamble. It is something that he's practiced. He makes calculated gambles, and he's very good at it. But Christos, a lot of times beats runners just on moving faster.
And let me tell you this here. We mentioned this about christosowen having the far superior combat skills of GanonsGoneWild. That does not mean GanonsGoneWild does not deserve to be here. GanonsGoneWild is definitely is showcasing right now in a great light that he does deserve to be in this part of the tournament. In fact, every one of the 128 runners, they deserve to be in here.
Oh, absolutely. You don't make it through 7 rounds of Swiss by a fluke.
And maybe some people are commenting about GanonsGoneWild gambling swamp. The way you could call it a gamble, it's not a gamble, but on the same token, here's the story. A lot of runners, Christos included, like to do swamp in go mode.
Oh, most definitely. You're right. There are 6 items there. It was an item-dense location. But, without the boots, that's... for a full clear, it's a good 7-8 minutes.
Yeah, and Christos ended a full clear, and GanonsGoneWild ended up skipping out on the left-hand side. That was really the only gamble that GanonsGoneWild ended up doing in regards to Ice Palace, or rather not Ice Palace, but Swamp Palace was skipping out on the left-hand side. But yeah, this is a interesting game 1 in the fact that GanonsGoneWild is leading christosowen by probably a decent 10 minutes at this point, maybe even a dozen. Because remember, Christos has got to get up to the mountain. He's got to go get into Hookshot Cave, where the remainder of this seed awaits him. And you also got to remember, Christos took a death on his way to the Palace of Darkness, and that may be weighing on his mind as GanonsGoneWild ending up picking up a green goo, which is going to definitely help out for a safety. And you mentioned it in the pregame. Look what happened yesterday.
Yep. Any of these runners can beat any of the others. We're at that point that it's not, there's a couple runners that are just so much better they're gonna, be guaranteed to move on. No. Especially these 12 runners that haven't, that didn't have to do the Swiss. That's a disadvantage to them because You know, they have not been, some of them have been practicing, but they haven't been competing.
I mean, take a look at how Dude came back after his layoff. Another one of the runners, one of the 12 runners who got the free pass into the brackets, came back with a stellar 120 effort against Prier in game 1. And GanonsGoneWild is going to have to be careful here. Does not want to take the death of the chain chomp, so we may see him opt to go do a Cane of Burn in just a moment. Well, that would be a good idea. Now we get it. There we go. There we go. There we go. We got it. Now I hope. Where did Christos pick up the magic powder?
Zora area.
Oh, right. GanonsGoneWild did not do that. So Christos now gets confirmation what medallion is required for Turtle Rock at this point.
Yep, and he's going to find everything else that he needs for Go mode right here. He won't be sure of that until he goes to Mire, but he will have everything for Go mode.
And there's the Cane of Samaria there for Christos. Then he'll go ahead and pick up the boots as well. And then we'll go ahead and activate the duck. He'll be next heading over to Misery Mire as well to go ahead and get himself into Go mode. Now, again, all we're getting to here is this is a case where a lot of people may not have given GanonsGoneWild a fair chance in this run. But look at this effort that we're getting from GanonsGoneWild. This is going to be a, what is it? We're looking at probably a sub. This is definitely a sub. This is definitely a sub 90.
Oh yeah, depending on where the big key is, we could be seeing a sub 120.
I just want to point this out here for GanonsGoneWild's time in this tournament. Week 2, 222.44. Week 3, 156.32. Week 4, 201.56. Week
There's no match week 5.
36. Week 6, 145.35. Week 5, week 7 rather, 155.32. He gets a sub 130 here. This is going to better his best race in the tournament by 10 plus minutes.
Yeah, and unfortunately with Christos having gone straight into Turtle Rock, he's going to be checking some locations that GanonsGoneWild is just going to skip.
He may be content thinking that he's got the 66% go mode at this point. And you see GanonsGoneWild trying to reassure himself that he's got the right rod up here. This more or less could be just a whining. Nerves could be coming into play too at this point. You are at this stage in the run. You have no idea where Christos is. You may be starting to go, where in the world can he be? Am I really in that position where I could have the lead? And Wyatt's decision to go ahead and use the green goo here to try and X. This is not an easy fight. Now, the easier route to go ahead with this fight would be to go into hammer strats, but may not be wanting to play menu boss at this point, so it's totally understandable at this point. Just going to have to make sure that he's got enough magic to get through this, and he does. And a hammer would be fine here as well, but GanonsGoneWild just going with the strengths here, doesn't want to go out of script. No, is doing what they're comfortable with. And the try next fight is down. Blah, blah, blah. Guess where we are heading to next.
I imagine we're going to Ganon's Tower. Don't we do something with that?
Yeah, we do. And I think it's time now to go ahead and start that. Oh, Quake! Guaranteed go mode for Christos! All right, start the game.
All right, so there are 22 item locations in Ganon's Tower that can have the big key. For those of you that are subbed to any of the Speed Gaming channels or have donated 250 bits, you can get your guesses in. Anyone can guess, but if you are the first to guess that number and have met those requirements, you'll be added to the leaderboard.
And this is all just for fun, as we normally do, but, you know, we just go ahead and do with this to make an involvement here. If you are definitely a supporter of the Speed Gaming channels, you can go ahead and put your name in, and 250 bits, get your name on the leaderboard. Now, Christos did not check the big chest. I forgot what was in the big chest, but I don't think it was a small key, but Christos is going to be gambling here, that he gets a small key on Laser Bridge. Big key in 1!
Oh my gosh. And Ganon remembers he's got to pick up a small key. That would have been disaster for him if he had not picked it up.
T-Prez, congratulations. You are the first one to guess this correct. He's going to pick up the second key. Single arrow laser bridge. Oh no, there was not a small key. There was a small key in the big chest. And guess who does not have any magic to go back on the platform? Oh, he has to use his green goo.
Poor Numpty.
Goodness, the Numpty is being Numpty, and he's definitely showing off his frustration at this point. So yeah, the big chest did have a small key. I thought it had a compass for some reason. Apparently I was wrong. GanonsGoneWild is going to have to be careful with his current arrow count, though, by the way. He's only got 6. He's going to go Fire Rod strats for this, which is totally understandable at this point. Well, there's some arrows right there. Now, GanonsGoneWild is going to have to be careful also with his magic, because he's going to need that for the upcoming floors here, especially if he wants to tackle the Wizrobes in the faster way possible. It does get a drop there. I didn't even realize that was a drop there. Really getting destroyed here health-wise.
Yeah, and he does not have the powder or any potions.
He did bottle up a fairy or two, so he's going to be perfectly fine in that regards. Yeah, he went over to the safety room there. And we see Christos here finishing off the Trinex fight. He still has to activate his flu. He also still has to make his way over to Misery Mire. He's got to finish that off. So he's not done with this match at all at this point.
Nope, not by a long shot.
Now we see Christos going to the hammer strats right here. This is going to take down Trinex very fast. Oh, GanonsGoneWild takes the death right there. Remember, he does have the fairy, but this is probably not where he wanted to use it. Those beams do 4 hearts of damage.
Yeah, and he's got a Master Sword Ganon fight ahead of him, unless he picks up a Master Sword or a Tempered in one of these next chests. And that can be tough with Green Mail. You're taking a lot of damage with every hit.
So there goes christosowen. He's going to go ahead and activate the duck at this point as GanonsGoneWild enters the 6th floor. GanonsGoneWild would be totally happy to find a tempered sword. That is not. That is a piece of heart. That is just an arrow upgrade. He's got to be getting nervous at this point, does GanonsGoneWild. A lot of this has to be nerves.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt.
You know who your opponent is at this point, and you know what your opponent can do. So this here has got to be one of those moments here where you're just thinking, oh no.
He's got to be spending the majority of his time looking at the speed racing channel saying, oh, he's going to snipe me. He's going to snipe me.
He falls down and has to go back up the stairs here. christosowen hopping into Misery Mire. So here's the round 2 fight against the good old friend Moldorm 2. End up getting a poke on him somewhere, or just a regular slash on him. Takes a fall. Has to do this again.
Yep, he has plenty of time, but needs to be careful with those 4 hearts. There's still a lot of places that you can take damage before and at Aga 2.
One other point here for GanonsGoneWild. He does not have any magic refill. He did not get it out of the pre-Moldorm 2. Gets the tap on him. So Moldorm 2 is done. But this is where this really becomes very, very tough for GanonsGoneWild. 20 rupees inside that chest.
Which is the vanilla item.
Down to 2 hearts. Gotta get upstairs. Can't have this be a rough Aga 2 fight. And we may see GanonsGoneWild go for safeties before the Ganon fight, which, you know, he may not. He may think that he's right next to christosowen and think that that decision will cost him the race. Oh, he takes a beam. Here's the fight continuing here. Oh, down to a half a heart. And he's got him out of sync really badly, too. Takes the death. Does he have another fairy?
He does.
Yes,
oh,
he does.
Jeez, that is the worst place to get a game over.
But Aghanim is really out of sync, too. So this is going to be an extremely annoying fight at this point. That would have been a nice place to get a double, but out of sync here, he's not going to be able to do this. This is got to calm himself down at this point.
You know what? And it looks like he realizes that he can't get multiple hits, so he's just avoiding them. He's playing it smart. Oh, he did get it.
Gets a double there.
Double, nice.
Gets lucky. think he's at 5. Yep, that's it. He's done with that. So now comes up the Ganon fight. This is where the pressure really turns on here for Ganon's Gone Wild. Without the good safeties at this point, he's going to have to do a Master Sword Ganon kill as christosowen finishes off with Misery Mar. He's heading up to Ganon's Tower. Remember, big key in chest 1. The magic is low, so he can't resort to a safety at this point. And Ganon's Gone Wild is going to go hunt down safeties.
I think he's going to check if he has a fairy bonk here.
Yeah, he does get the fairy bonk there. Yeah. He's going to go ahead and use that to replenish, but he's got to do some other things too. He's going to have to be careful with his health, really, because that's going to be a critical part of this run. You know?
You know, I think if he knew how far ahead he was, I got to imagine he'd mirror and go get some potions. But he's got to be thinking, this is christosowen. He on this seed, he's gonna got done any minute.
This is here, so he's gonna go into this fight at this point. Now remember, we got silver arrows, so this is not gonna be a problem once we get to that aspect. But christosowen is coming up really fast upon him, and we get over here to the corner. This would have been a great spot to get him for multiple hits here with that Master Sword. Doesn't go ahead and use the advantage of the corner. Now he would also have that same advantage here where trying to dodge out of here. That trident does do a lot of damage. I want to say that does, what, 4 hearts damage?
It does do 4 hearts of damage.
And he's got only 1 fairy in the bottle at this point.
Did he get 3? Oh, he just got another one, duh.
Yeah, he just got the one to replenish because he only has 2 bottles at this point. christosowen going into Ganon's Tower.
He's got a lot of bottles to dodge, or a lot of bats to dodge.
Yeah,
and, each of them are doing 4 hits.
He may be deciding to take this the easy to safety strat to this point. But, so Christo's going the right-hand side. He is going to go into the staircase. Get that big key in chest number 2 for him. Wouldn't it be something if that that pre-Moldorm 2 chest has the tempered sword? That would be an amazing change of events here. Christo's going to the left-hand side to get his key. Oh, just barely got past that bat thanks to the invincibility frames of the hook shot.
Yeah, I think by like 1 frame.
Ooh, there's our safety net. It's gone. So once again, we do have a fairy in the bottle. Now, I know people once again have commented about Ganon's Gone Wild's health or his lack of magic. I think at this point he is fine, but his safety net at this point is very, very troublesome because he does have the silver arrows, which will allow him to just be able to light the torches just the once or twice. We get to stage 3. Gets the bat to float around, and he takes the death, so there goes his fairy. So there goes that. So we get the first of the hits there. Christos is entering the 4th floor of the gauntlet. But
yeah,
this
and the
is not...
gauntlet is somewhere that he can make up time on because Ganon did have a little bit of trouble in the gauntlet.
Oh, Ganon's Gone Wild had a lot of trouble here. We get 3/4 of the floor down at this point. There's the 4th. Okay, so now comes the question. Will he be able to get the torch glitch? He's gonna have to be kind of easy with the magic usage here. He does not get the... Oh, that one was almost on top of him! Now remember, he can get him to the blue state here and use the silver arrows, but doesn't get him in time. Torch goes out. Lamola's down for christosowen. Ooh, fires that in the wrong directions. Gotta be careful with that too. Has the chance to maybe get him up here in the top corner. Uses up the ability to get him. Okay. Oh, takes the hit from the bat down to 5 hearts. christosowen now on the 5th floor. Now it really becomes problematic. Look at that magic bar for him. He's going to have to get a double here. Get the double. That is 2. Tried for the triple. That's okay. Torch flies out here down to 3 hearts. Now he has to get this. And he is out of magic. He is out of magic.
Oh.
And he doesn't get him. And there goes the torch. He's got to get a double on this, and he can't do it. He is out of magic, and that is done. As Christos goes up to the 6th floor. And Ganon's going to have to fall down and start this over again. He's going to have to get the magic. He is self-destructing at this point. christosowen getting ready to head to the Moldorm 2 fight. Remember, he never got this chest. That is just a piece of heart, but he never got the jar of magic either. And GanonsGoneWild has to go flute to 2, get the magic out of the potion shop as christosowen gets ready to finish off this Moldorm 2 fight. And there finishes off the Moldorm 2 fight. GanonsGoneWild picking up the potions at this point. What he should do, and he doesn't do it. He should have talked to the lady. Why aren't you talking to the lady? You got 1 heart. That's a free health upgrade right there. Health refill at that point. Oh my goodness. He's going to go back in here. With 1 heart, he's probably going to use a potion immediately if he can get in there. He's got to get back into the hole first, though. And there's Christos. Oh, GanonsGoneWild's going to bonk into the tree. He's going to have to be careful, though. There we go.
Oh, geez, because he needed to use the potion anyways.
Yeah, he needed to use the potion. What he needed to do, should have done, is got the green. As christosowen finishes off with the Aga 2 fight, these 2 are going to be at the Ganon fight together!
Oh my gosh.
And so christosowen has a chance to claim this one away if his Ganon fight is cleaner! As the trident goes around here for GanonsGoneWild, this would be a perfect spot setup for a couple of double hits up on the top corner here for GanonsGoneWild. Takes a trident hit. He cannot take a death as christosowen starts the fight. Now over the corner here, Christos getting these sword hits here. Let's see who gets to this stage 2 first, as they both are still on the trident stage 1. Perfect setup here for Christos. He's going to get a lot of doubles on this one here. Gets a couple of doubles, gets hit with a trident. He backs off of here. GanonsGoneWild is first into stage 2. There goes christosowen. He's into stage 2. Using the hook shot to allow himself a couple extra tries. Christos down to a half a heart. GanonsGoneWild full life and full magic at this point, but still on stage 2. Doesn't get a single hit. Christos being a little more braver with his attempts here, but that's where the NMG practice comes into store here. Both of them still in stage 2.
Yes, because Christos does do the low percent, which requires you to have the Master Sword, so he is quite practiced at this. But I don't think
Christos
he
is on
has
stage 3. Christos has taken the lead.
This is insane.
And on a half a heart strat too. And christosowen comes up here, gets the floor to be dissolved here, 3/4 of the way down. And there's GanonsGoneWild using up his second of the potions already. And christosowen gets the final part of the floor to come apart here. And he gets the first hit of the silver arrows. There's 1. Gets the lamp out. There's the torch glitch. And he will get a double here. There's 1 and 2. And that's going to do it as christosowen steals this race away from GanonsGoneWild.
Oh my gosh, that is... Oh. Who would have thought that he had even a chance of winning this 15 minutes ago when Ganon's Gone Wild dropped into Ganon.
Ganon's Gone Wild had about a 10-minute lead over christosowen, but then fell apart. He did not get the magic. Pre-Moldorm 2 did not leave him with enough magic on stage 4 of the Ganon fight. And with that, christosowen and his Ganon Tower execution, it was enough. Oh my god, this is heartbreaking for Ganon's Gone Wild, but elation for christosowen.
Rick, what did I just watch?
I have no idea. Christos, hi!
Hi, sorry, I was just plugging my mic in.
You numpty! Do you have any idea what happened?
No, I didn't think I was gonna win, I'll be honest. But then as I was getting through GT,
We didn't think you were gonna win either.
Yeah,
Ganon's Gone Wild
I did not play well.
Ganon's Gone Wild had a 10-minute lead on you. Ran out of magic, stage 4 Ganon.
Damn, that is probably the most painful thing.
With 3 silver
happen.
arrow hits.
Oh my god. That was a baptism of fire, or by fire for me.
There is the final silver arrow hit for Ganon's Gone Wild. A heartbreaking loss. A race that Ganon Gone Wild took the advantage early on because of the early dive into Swamp. Turns into a loss to christosowen. Get your GGs in there, though. He's going to need your power. So yeah, that was the play there. Ganon's Gone Wild coming out of the Palace of Darkness. Went into Swamp Palace, got the Titan Smith, which gave everything else. Whereas you went over and did Thieves Town.
Yeah, if you followed the crystals, this seed would have been super quick. I figured there must be at least one thing that I would need in Village of Outcasts or Thieves Town, and there was just absolutely nothing there.
Yeah, not even a sword to help you guys out either. We only found where the Master Sword was. That was it.
Wow, I guess the other two were probably somewhere deep in GT.
Either that or Ice Palace. We never saw that either.
Oh, true. Yeah, I played pretty poorly for my standards. Like, an overall death. I absolutely... I don't know what I was thinking in Turtle Rock. Missing a key. It wasn't even a conscious gamble. I realized halfway on the way to the end that I hadn't checked Big Chest.
Yeah, and then you got the mirror shoot, and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I was just trying not to get too frustrated because I didn't know what Ganon's Gone Wild was doing. And all things considered, I didn't play that terrible. I did an unnecessary Thieves Town dip, but otherwise, it was pretty good. Well, the death on the overworld was bad, but.
Don't worry, the chat was calling you a numpty for that death outside of the Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, rightly so.
I was too.
Your subs were definitely giving it to you.
I expect nothing less of them.
Hello to Ganon's Gone Wild. Your thoughts?
Yo, good games, dude. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
What happened?
That's alright, GG. I mean, yeah, just came up like a little bit short there, but whatever.
So you ended up missing the the pre-Moldorm 2 chest. Were you starting to worry about that chest having something important at some point during this final 15-minute stretch?
You mean in the Ganon's Tower?
Yeah.
Oh, not really. That wasn't really on my mind. I was just, I mean, I was just like, I have to do Master Sword Ganon at that point. I'm just committed to it, and just have to get my fairy. And luckily, I had that bug net. That thing kept me alive.
Yeah. Well, luckily, it was just a piece of heart inside that chest, but you really could have used that magic.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Don't tell him that. That's salt in the wound.
No, I mean, I was actually thinking about getting a blue pot before going in there, but I was like, it's probably like 45 seconds. But at that point, if you hadn't already won, you probably had done something else and checked other locations. So probably should have just did it.
So I don't really want to be the bearer of this kind of news here, but so christosowen out of the Palace of Darkness ended up going to Skull Woods in the Thieves Town village of Outcast area. And then finally, after a little bit of dancing around where he tried lifting up 2 different stones that he can't lift with that power glove of his, numpty.
Yeah,
Rick coming hard.
I forgot how the game worked at some point today.
Yeah, just teasing Christos, of course. But you ended up going to Swamp, and that ended up being the big play that gave you quite the lead for a while there. In fact, you had about a 10-minute lead on Christos going into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I mean, my collection rate was super low. I skipped like entire huge sections, and yeah, I got like the flippers and the bow early on, and I'm like, all right, let's just see what these do. And I had their crystal dungeons, and I had the items to complete them early on, so I just was kind of trying to follow the logic there.
Up until that Palace of Darkness split, you both were on even terms as far as where you both were going. Both of you went to Eastern. Both of you guys ended up going up to Death Mountain. Both of you guys went over to the Palace of Darkness at about the same time.
In fact, even with the death that you took, Christos, on the way to Palace of Darkness, you still entered Palace of Darkness before him.
Okay, Pod was the obvious play, and even though I died on the way there, I was like, I'm not going to let that change where I go. I'm just going to do the Walk of Shame back. But yeah, I made a few, the biggest decision that I made, which was a bad decision, was choosing to go to Thieves Town when I could have been Swamp, which was a crystal. But I just figured I'd find at least one thing over in that area. And I also didn't expect Swamp to have mitts, which immediately led to everything else we needed on Death Mountain, which was obviously where we were both going to go immediately because we saw the boots. Well, I'm assuming you saw the boots on the island early.
Yeah, I was just like waiting to find the mitts so I can go get those.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing you again next week. I think our second and third match next Saturday, Sunday at the same time.
Yeah, it should be fun. GG.
So, GanonsGoneWild, one thing you should take away from this match here is that with your routing at this in this run, you have the potential of knocking off somebody who is heavily favored as Christos. So, take that into game 2. Use that as inspiration and work on that final aspect. Let me just ask you in all honesty here. That Ganon's Tower, were you fighting your nerves at all?
A little bit at certain points. It's actually interesting. I'm actually pretty tired right now, so that's like counterbalancing the nerves. So I didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm just kind of like just chilled out right now.
Yeah, I was a little surprised because, and Rick made sure to point this out, we played in the Swiss the 5th round, and you beat me very badly. But I remember watching your VODs beforehand, and you're very good at Ganon's Tower, and you definitely are good at Master Sword Ganon. And it just kind of was like, I think the nerves and the tiredness were working against you.
Yeah, I made a couple mistakes there that just like, I don't know, it's like once I get like off keel, like, I don't know, the muscle memory just like went away, and I'm like, uh-oh.
It's really easy to have things snowball.
One other thing I do want to say here, and you both should watch back the Ganon fight. The second Ganon fight for
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, his execution is. I mean, you run like NMG, right?
And Christos, you're doing this on a half a heart.
Well, not intentionally. I went in with like 8 or something, or like I guess 8.5. But I didn't even realize that my health was getting low. I had no idea it was in my bottles. I just wasn't focused. I need to play this game again instead of playing OOT all the time.
Wow! Look at the item difference here. christosowen 142, GanonsGoneWild 110.
Damn, that is a low item count.
I think that's the lowest collection rate I've ever seen.
It makes sense though. You follow the crystals, the game just threw everything at you. So
yeah, it's certainly I think my lowest collection rate. If I didn't die or whatever, fail again, it probably would have been a PB too. So.
And on top of that, the big key and Ganon's Tower and Maya were like immediate.
Yeah, being in chest 1 for GanonsGoneWild, chest 2 for christosowen.
I got it second. Nice, okay. Well, at that point, like, my plan was to go straight to Tyrum, because I knew I was going to be behind with... I was going to gamble on Tyrum. So what I really didn't want to see was an early big key, and then I got it like immediately. I was like, well, that's kind of not the ideal. But knowing my luck, even if big key wasn't there, I probably would have lost with that gamble on Tyrum. But yeah, I deserve to lose that one, I think. So I'm sorry that I ended up winning.
It's okay. Just fall the Ganon a few times next time.
Yeah, I can work on that. I can definitely pull something together.
But yeah, this should make game 2 very interesting. See how GanonsGoneWild bounces back. See if christosowen can not be a numpty.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, there's no guarantee about that. But, you know, GG for both of you guys. Still a very solid effort for both of you guys. You know, you guys ran a great race, you know, and, you know, game 2, Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to it.
Me too. Thanks for commentating, guys. And, yeah, I'll catch you next week. GGW.
Yeah, GG. Thanks everybody for commentating and watching.
christosowen, GanonsGoneWild. Anything you want to add, Cobb?
I just am sitting here thinking to myself, this is halfway into week 1 of the brackets. And how many like ridiculously close matches and crazy endings have we already seen? Still got a couple months of this. This is crazy.
And we had a tie already. As defined by the rules, the tournament, a tie of 3 seconds or less happened yesterday. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. But let's go ahead and plug what we've got coming up here on the Speed Gaming schedule. Coming up next on this channel, we don't have anything until 7 o'clock. That is when In the Name of DT faces against ACMLM in Game 1 of their Best of 3 series. Should be interesting there. What In the Name of DT and ACMLM facing off to find out who will be facing off against either Dude and Prior 57, which begins in about 6 minutes from now. As Dude has a 1-0 series lead on Prior heading into game number 2. Other than that, we also have some more races coming up. Just started about 20 minutes ago, Dragon Master against Trojan Dude. That's on Speed Gaming 1. Starting also in 6 minutes from now on Speed Gaming 2 is the Hat in Time tournament as Konasumi versus Cheesy Finger Smelly Man. Quite the name.
I think that's my favorite name ever.
It is mine as well. Ninjembro versus Lanxian on Speed Gaming 4. That's at 7:15 Eastern. Hippo versus Hyphenated. That's over on A Link to the Past Randomizer at 8:30 p.m. Also, Amazing Amphras versus Phylian on Speed Gaming at 8:30 as well, Manhattan Time at 9 o'clock on Speed Gaming 2. More Link to the Past Randomizer at 9 on Speed Gaming 5 as Zelda Desan versus DK's 89 gets their series underway, their best of 3 series. Coming up on Speed Gaming 3 at 10 o'clock is a Zelda 1 Randomizer weekly race with the beta flags being showcased. And that will take us into day number 3 of the tournament. Actually, day number 4 of the tournament coming up on Monday with a lot more great races. Just take a look at the schedule, see where all the matches turn out to be, including my fated match against Danny. I'm not looking forward to it. So, while we are here, we do want to thank you for joining us. Special thanks to Deuce May for clicking the buttons, doing the tracking for us behind the scenes. I'm Adirondack Rick for the Fiesel and the crew at Speed Gaming, for Cyclone, who did the setup for us as well. Kabla la la, you send us on out of here. Have yourselves a great Sunday evening.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure, and always a pleasure commentating with Rick there, even though he did bring up some sore points. But yeah, thanks all for coming by. Amazing race. Tune in for more. Have a good night.